The renowned soap opera Days of Our Lives recorded the funeral sequences for the beloved character John Black when the actor who represented him, Drake Hogestyn, was nearing the end of his life. This was a heartbreaking convergence of art and life that occurred during the filming of the scenes. The decision to capture this pivotal moment in the show's narrative, while Hogestyn was facing his final days, was both a testament to his dedication to the series and a poignant reflection of the profundity of the connection that exists between the actor, his character, and the fans who have followed his journey for nearly 4 decades. According to reports, Hogestyn, who passed away in September 2024 at the age of 70, was aware of the emotional significance of John Black's plot and apparently backed the choice to film these scenes. He was aware that this was a story that fans would want to be told. The character of John Black, a character whose complicated history as a spy, mercenary, and loving family man made him a cornerstone of the program, was played by Drake Hogestyn, who joined Days of Our Lives in 1986 and took over the role of John Black with that year. Over the course of his career, John Black became synonymous with the imposing presence of Hogestyn, his gruff appeal, and his ability to communicate both strength and tenderness. Whether he was navigating international conspiracies or fighting for his love with Marlena Evans, played by Deidre Hall, John Black was able to win the hearts of millions of people, which earned Hogestyn a permanent position in the annals of soap operas. Despite the fact that Hogestyn was in a critical condition, the choice to record the burial of John Black was not made lightly. A desire to respect both the performer and the character in a manner that felt authentic to the show's tradition was the driving force behind the decision, according to people that are close to the project. One of the spokespersons for Days of Our Lives stated that Drake was aware of the preparations and given his approval to these efforts. According to him, he understood that this is a story that fans would want to be told, and he wanted to make sure that John Black's departure from Salem was handled with the respect and emotional depth that the character deserved. Due to the gravity of the situation, the sequences, which were shown in the latter half of the year 2024, were constructed with painstaking attention to detail. A cathartic experience for the actors, crew, and audience was the funeral of John Black, which served not only as a plot point but also as a significant event. The set was described as a place of reverence, and the cast members were seen to be visibly emotional while they were filming scenes that appeared to be far too genuine. A performance that was both visceral and restrained was delivered by Deidre Hall, whose character Marlena enjoyed one of the most enduring love stories on television with John. She channeled her real-life sadness for her longtime co-star, and the result was a performance that was perfect. According to a statement distributed by Hall, it was one of the most difficult things we've ever done. Drake was a member of the family, and it was nearly impossible to bear to say goodbye to John at the same time as we were saying goodbye to him. Fans felt that the funeral scenes were a heartbreaking yet appropriate way to pay tribute to a figure who had been a constant presence in their life for many years. Social media platforms, including X, were inundated with responses from viewers who expressed their support for the show's courageous decision, as well as their grief over the decision. One of John Black's fans wrote on social media that watching John Black's funeral felt like losing a piece of my childhood. When you consider that Drake was involved in this choice, it takes on an even greater significance. In this capacity, he provided his absolute best effort. A further reader noted, "This is the reason why Days of Our Lives isn't like other shows. They do not avoid the challenging situations in any manner. It is true, and it is painful, but this is a lovely thing." The decision to shoot the movie during such a delicate period of time prompted some individuals to express ethical concerns. Some critics argued that the picture blurred the lines between fact and fiction in a manner that could be interpreted as exploitative. Those who were close to Hogestyn, on the other hand, highlighted that he was not only aware of the choice but also actively backed it. When asked about Drake, executive producer Ken Corday commented, "Drake was a professional in every sense of the word. He wanted to provide the audience with a sense of resolution because he was aware that the play was more than just one person. In other words, and dignity were given the utmost importance. In order to prevent the actor from experiencing unnecessary stress, the filming activities were meticulously planned out, and his participation was restricted to the extent that he was physically able to contribute. There was a significant amount of emphasis placed on the ensemble cast during the funeral sequence. Characters such as Steve Johnson, played by Stephen Nichols, Roman Brady, played by Josh Taylor, and Hope Brady, played by Christian Alfonso, delivered emotional eulogies that were reflective of the authentic feelings of their respective performers. A montage that acted as both a celebration of Hogestyn's work and a reminder of the character's profound influence on the program was mixed throughout the scenes with flashbacks to some of the most iconic incidents that John Black had experienced. Knowing that Hogestyn was battling pancreatic cancer, a diagnosis that he kept confidential until just before his death, increased the emotional resonance of the funeral scenes. Hogestyn had kept this information to himself until shortly before his death. Both his co-stars and his fans highlighted his unwavering dedication to his work, praising his bravery and elegance in the face of illness. His commitment to his craft was praised by both groups. During the course of an interview, Nichols stated that Drake was a fighter. In spite of the fact that he was ill, he would become animated when he talked about John Black and the supporters. This was a narrative that he wanted to be told correctly. The burial was as more than just a plot device for the cast and crew of Days of Our Lives. It was also a means for them to go with their collective grief. The television program has a long history of addressing challenging subjects, ranging from addiction to loss, and the passing of John Black was not an exception to this rule. There was extensive collaboration between the writers and the actors in order to ensure that the plot was respectful of both the character and Hogestyn's legacy. Consequently, a multi-episode arc was produced that successfully combined soap opera drama with genuine human emotion, which is a defining characteristic of the series' ongoing appeal. Days of Our Lives continues to be a cultural landmark despite the fact that the soap opera industry is undergoing continuous change, with fewer episodes surviving the transition to streaming and altering audiences' viewing habits. It is important to note that the decision to incorporate Hogestyn's actual death into the storyline highlights the distinctive function that soap operas play in portraying the highs and lows of real life. Soap operas, in contrast to other entertainment genres, thrive on long-term storytelling in which the characters become like family to the audience. The memorial service for John Black was not simply a farewell to a character, rather, it was a moment of collective grieving for a community that spans multiple generations. Fans have continued to pay tribute to Hogestyn's legacy in the months that have passed after the episodes were shown by publishing memorials, creating fan art, and organizing charity drives in his name. In addition, the cast and crew of Days of Our Lives have revealed their intentions to produce a special commemorative episode that will be devoted to Hogestyn. This episode is scheduled to run in the early years of 2025 and will feature interviews with people who were closest to him as well as video from behind the scenes. Corday stated that Drake's legacy will continue to be remembered in Salem. The fact that he was John Black ensures that he will remain a part of our lives forever. The spectators are reminded of the ability of narrative to bridge the gap between fiction and reality as they reflect on the scenes that took place during the burial for the deceased. The ultimate gift that Drake Hogestyn gave to Days of Our Lives was not only his talent, but also his willingness to allow the story of his character reflect his own life or experiences. Consequently, he made certain that John Black's farewell was just as unforgettable as the individual who was responsible for bringing him to life.